If you are into watches or G-Shocks, you might have seen these four common shapes of G-Shocks. One is of course the original, the square 5600. After that you have what is known as the Casio, which is the octagonal shape, that is the 2100 series. After that you have the round shape, the 110 series, and this one, the 6900 series. But this does not fit any of them. This is a very new type of G-Shock. This is the GD-B500S, a part of this lineup of watches. It is completely quirky looking with not only a different shape but also a different color. Like this lime green, almost like highlighter like color does not really exist in like any other G-Shock. This does have 8 sides, but it is not completely square or not a complete octagon. It is like compressed, it is an oblong shape. And there is a reason for this. This watch features an angular shape designed not to interfere with the back of the hand. And the screen is a digital LCD with a 3-tiered display layout. The one I have here has translucent lugs, which are almost completely transparent, orange buttons, white sides, and grey case and strap. Again, the color combination itself is quite unique, where the buttons are a different color, the strap, the sides are all different colors. And also, this G-Shock is one of the few to have modular lugs. Unlike conventional structures, in which the case is covered by the bezel and the band is connected directly, this has modular lugs. That is, the lugs are independent of other components. They are not completely attached to the main case. They are a different part in itself. And that is mostly because for looks, this makes it look very futuristic, very unique, again makes it stand out from other G-Shocks. But also, I don't know why, I personally think that this gives me a better fit on my wrist compared to other G-Shocks, because these lugs are more curved, so they just fit my wrist better. But I don't know, it could be just like a misconception in my mind. If you saw the thumbnail, I mentioned that this is the thinnest G-Shock ever. And yes, that is right. This is lighter and thinner than almost any other G-Shock. And that is because this is made from carbon plastic instead of being completely made from resin. So carbon plastic is not only lighter but also tougher. Although it claims to be tougher, I just do not feel like this is a G-Shock because I'm not used to this plastic type material. The other two G-Shocks I have are completely resin. You can feel the toughness, when you wear them. But this one feels a little flimsy. I completely trust G-Shock. I mean, of course I do. They will not throw away such a big legacy and all just for like a marketing tactic calling this lighter. So this is tough, but it is just difficult for me to perceive it as such. Another main selling point of this watch is that it is a fitness type G-Shock, and that is because of two reasons. First is the Bluetooth connectivity of this watch, and second is the accelerometer. Bluetooth connectivity means that this watch can connect to my smartphone and perform a large number of features, which we will get into later. And the second point, the accelerometer. Basically, an accelerometer is a sensor that measures acceleration or the rate of change of velocity. So in a watch, the accelerometer can be used to track activity and movement, such as steps taken, distance traveled, or calories burned. It also enables different features like wrist gestures like the auto light function or a shake to wake feature. And yes, this is important for this watch because this watch also has something similar to a shake to wake, that is the power saving mode. Basically, if the watch is left untouched for a period around 150 minutes between 10 pm and 6 am, the screen display will disappear and the watch will enter a power saving state. And this is of course to save the battery. This watch having an accelerometer is important here because this is how the watch knows when it has been picked up or is being used. Let's talk about the main important thing about a watch, its features. Now, it is a very good thing that even though this is lighter, smaller, thinner, it does not lose a lot of its functionality. Just because they have Bluetooth in this means that the amount of functions that you can perform are largely increased. We already discussed the power saving mode. Other than that, you have the light. Now this is a super illuminator watch. There are three basic types of lights in a Casio watch. One is just a small LED in a corner of the watch. It's not very good, but it is very cheap. After that, you have an illuminator watch, meaning that these watches usually have a backlight. And though they look stunning, these require a lot of battery. So Casio came up with super illuminators, where they do not have backlights but instead have 2 or 3 LEDs in different corners. So now you can not only conserve battery, but also this LED is longer lasting than a backlight. So this is a super illuminator, meaning the light you see here is due to an LED and not because of a backlight. And again, of course, this is a G-Shock, so the illuminator is very good. It has great visibility in the dark, and the duration for this light can also be adjusted through the app itself. Along with the duration, you can also set if you want the auto light on or off. And the auto light is a feature where basically once you turn the wrist in a certain way, the light will automatically turn on. After that, you get 12 and 24-hour display. You also get 5 daily alarms, of course a timer just like any other watch, and a life log. Life log, as the name suggests, is the activity that this watch keeps track of. So that would include your steps that you take, the distance that you travel, and the calories that you burnt. This is the life log of this watch, and all of this is visible on the app for this watch, which is this app. And you can see here as an example of what the life log would look like. Along with the life log, you get like an additional feature, that is the time and place. Pressing a button on the watch records the date, time, and position on a map within the app, and this is useful as an activity log. After that, of course, you get a stopwatch, you get world time, and because this is like a Bluetooth connected watch, you get around 300 cities. You have time synchronization, again a feature purely because of Bluetooth, and it can connect to a smartphone. So you can have the exact time after you synchronize it, and also on the app you can see the history of every time and the last time you synchronized your time. It sounds very confusing, but I hope you know what I mean. Another great feature, the phone finder. As the name suggests, after you press a button on the watch, even if it is not connected to your phone, it will try to connect it. So the range is quite small because of Bluetooth, but after it finds a connection, it will start to play a tune on your phone, and you can choose among these three. You can also choose the volume of this tune. So this is a great feature and it does work. I've tested it quite a lot of times, but the range is not that great because it's Bluetooth. So you do need to be a little bit closer for it to establish a connection. Just like a smartwatch, you can see your notifications on this watch, but you cannot really interact with the notifications, that is, type out any messages or anything like a normal smartwatch. But again, smartwatches are not watches, they are devices. So this watch does just display any notifications that you would want to see. A great thing about this watch is that you really do not need to sit and go through all the modes or features. If you want to set an alarm or start a timer, you really don't need to do it manually. You can do it through your phone, which is just so convenient. It's absolutely irritating getting a watch and having to set the time, or even resetting the time after a few months after it has lost its accuracy. I think the price is genuinely worth it for how convenient all of this is. And also, once you send a setting to the watch and it receives it, it displays a little OK, which I thought was a little bit cute for some reason. This watch is not always connected to your phone because that would mean the battery would drain out so fast, and also you don't really need to always have a connection. This watch can work perfectly fine without the Bluetooth connectivity also. So you can choose the amount of time after which you want the connection to get over. You can also change the time display here, where you can switch your home time and your world time. And of course, it goes without saying that this has 20 bar water resistance. Again, this is a great fitness watch because not only is it light, It's very durable, and now it has Bluetooth. And even without the Bluetooth connectivity, this still tracks my steps and the amount of distance I traveled and all. Let's go back to the point that this is the thinnest G-Shock. Some collectors might not feel like they're getting what they paid for because the other G-Shocks are very bulky. You can feel the amount of like weight and durability that they have, so you can feel like you paid a good price for this, but this kind of feels flimsy. But I completely trust the brand. Again, I'm saying I am like not scared that if I drop this it will get damaged, but I'm just a little bit more like cautious maybe with dropping it. I don't know why. There is a lot more confidence I have in these just because of how bulky they are. But this, it is not bulky, it is very light. Comparatively, I can feel the weight just in my hands. So I'm not that comfortable with dropping this. Most of the thickness of this watch comes from the bezel and it is raised upwards so that it is protected from any falls, right? I mean, I can see that it is raised here, but I don't know, I just don't get the same amount of confidence. Like I can comfortably just do all of this with my G-Shocks. But with this, I feel a little scared. It is 11mm thick. Here is a comparison between their weights also. Some part of my fear also comes from the screen. This screen feels so easily scratchable because it is completely like a mirror. It is so reflective. Oh my god, it sometimes is genuinely difficult to see it. I had such a difficult time taking the B-roll for this because it is so reflective, and I usually take my B-roll in the dark so that the watches get good lighting. In the dark you could not see the display. It looked like a blank screen, and it has to be this way. This needs to be an LCD screen to display your notifications and every other function that is related to Bluetooth. And this is how it looks on my wrist, size 5.5 inches. Let's talk about this box. This is not it. Unlike the G-Shock itself, this watch is so cheap looking. It's just not great. Like the youth boxes are so much better than this. What is this? Like it has nothing interesting going on. Even the cardboard itself is so thin. This G-Shock retails for 9,495. Is the price justified? Yes. Mostly because of the Bluetooth. If you look through the smartphone link catalog of G-Shocks, you will see that most of them are very expensive. The cheapest one is this, but that is for women. This is a unisex G-Shock for this price with the Bluetooth connectivity feature. So I mean, already there I feel like the price is justified. On top of that, you have additional features like this being a super illuminator and not just an illuminator. Plus, this is the thinnest G-Shock in the world currently and also very, very light. So yes, the price is justified. Who is this watch for? Like, should you buy this watch? If you are a collector who has already collected a few other G-Shocks before or watches before, then definitely go for this. But if you are a collector who is just starting out and are considering this as your first G-Shock, I would advise against it. There is a very common rule or an opinion in the watch world where basically if you have two options, you should buy the watch which is more iconic. And so for your first G-Shock, you should definitely go for a 5600 or a Casio because they are much more iconic, and the value that they have in the real world and in the watch world is much more than these unique looking G-Shocks. Even in the future, their value and their history is much more than a G-Shock like this. So yes, if you are looking to buy this as your first G-Shock, maybe don't. Mostly because you can also get a 5600 for cheaper than this. But if you are looking to get into G-Shocks for just utility, you want a G-Shock purely for functions, then this is great. Because of its Bluetooth connectivity, you saw how many features this has. And also the price is genuinely good. It is very futuristic looking and modern. And one thing that I really like about this watch is, of course, the colors. You know, the interplay between three different colors, but also the display itself. Casio could have gone very minimalistic with this watch, but they did not. Yes, of course, the display does not look very retro. The whole watch does not look retro. But they did not lose all of the text that is on the watch. So, this was the thinnest G Shock in the world, which I definitely would recommend. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for more.